Hey y'all, hi. So this video is just going to be a quick, hopefully quick, little life update because this has been one of the longest weeks of my life this past week, and I'm having like a weirdly hard time getting back to filming. It's like I can't talk about other things before I just talk to the camera quickly about this. Partly to get those of you who've been following along and who care about this caught up on what's going on, but also just to kind of like get me unblocked so that I can get back to usual business. So this is not a normal video for my channel. I don't do these kinds of life updates very often, but it has to happen this time. First of all, most importantly, Sadie, she's alive, she's improving, she's been really sick, and that has been what has made this such a difficult week and a half, and what has gotten me so behind on my usual schedule. But the prognosis is actually better than we thought that it was going to be. In the middle, it was really scary. There were several days there where she was just lying there, basically barely breathing. I was like lying with her, afraid that every breath was going to be her last. During that time, we thought that she had a heart condition based on some initial tests and x-rays from our vet. And it took us a while to get her to a cat heart specialist, like a cat cardiologist. And she determined that she didn't actually have a heart condition. So then we were like, well, what do we do now? There were so many tests and so many blood panels and chem panels and all of this stuff. And it was kind of a roundabout path to figure out what she actually had. And so the fact that she was doing so poorly during all of that time, and the fact that we didn't know what it was for a really long time, and the fact that we thought it was a heart condition for a long time, which I think what our vet thought that it was would have been fatal and just progressive. And for a while there, it looked pretty grim. She ended up just to have pancreatitis. Her pancreas is inflamed. The enzymes, I think the digestive enzymes from her pancreas were like spilling out into her abdomen, affecting some of her other organs. It was like a flare-up, an acute flare-up, which can be really bad in cats, can be fatal. But the vet from the vet hospital who finally figured it out thinks that it's a more mild case with her, and that with some palliatives and some nursing, we'll be able to nurse her back to health. So it's been a crazy roller coaster, but I just want to let you guys know that right now she's doing much better. She's not back to full strength yet, and it'll be a while before we feel confident in saying like, oh, she's definitely recovered. But the prognosis is pretty good. We're feeling optimistic, and we're feeling way better than we were all of last week. So those are all of the details that I'm going to go into here. If you're curious, I filmed a much longer video about how it went and, you know, all of the ups and downs for Patreon. So I'll obviously leave the Patreon link down below in case you want to become a patron, you want to know more about this. The important thing is that she doesn't have a heart condition. She no longer appears to be at death's door. She could recover completely, and she could go on to have like a good quality of life and not be in pain for the remainder of her life. She's 11 years old. So that's, you know, I mean, some cats live to be 20. I feel like I saw a cat on Instagram recently who was like 38 years old and going out for ice cream on his birthday. Is that a thing? I feel like that's a thing that I saw. You know, we know that her time will come eventually. And it's actually something that I spend some time thinking about before this even. For years I've done this, not just with Sadie, but with everyone. I think it is important to spend time dwelling in that headspace of awareness about the end of life. And especially with people you really love and with yourself. You know, I think that one of the things that can cause people to behave in sort of a wild way, a crazy way, or in sometimes a hurtful, destructive way is the fear of death that comes from never acknowledging its reality to oneself, you know? So I do spend time when I'm cuddling Sadie. No, we're not going to cry, but when I have been doing this for years, spending time when I'm cuddling her, thinking about the end of her life and what that will mean. And it's also a way to really deepen gratitude and make it more a part of your daily life. That, you know, having spent some time meditating on the eventual end of Sadie's life has made it more natural for me to like actively cherish every minute that I've had with her. But it was hard to think about losing her right now because some of you might not know this, but this entire year and year and a half, really, most of the pandemic and continuing on, has been kind of a transition time for Joe and me. At the beginning of the pandemic, we lost our business. It couldn't survive the pandemic. So we've been living here with our friends, even though it's like a long period of transition, like over a year. We're on our way to something else. We're gathering our resources. We're rebuilding in this safe space so that we can move on to the next place. So we've been still for a while. We've been here, but we've also been journeying. Like, this is like a long journey for us. And it's hard to lose something so precious, like on the journey. And I think that when we were facing it, that was one of the things that was really hard. The idea of Sadie not making it through to the next place with us. I'm so hopeful. I'm so grateful that I can now be hopeful that she will make the entire journey with us and come with us to a more peaceful and a more stable place, which will be like the place that we go after this. And there's so much that we don't yet know about when and what that will be. But I'm really glad that it's looking like that the three of us will be able to go there together. Hopefully, what the vets think is true, and that she really is going to get better. And of course, if we do lose her, we will find a way to process it. But I'm particularly glad for that reason, like because of where we are right now and what this year has been like for all of us, her included. Particularly glad that she fought it. And speaking of veterinary care and also speaking of Patreon, which I know I briefly mentioned, I have gotten so many messages from you guys asking about like help with Sadie's vet bills. I just wanted to thank you and also just explain a little bit about how it's been with that. I mean, the vet bills have been horrendous. Like it's shocking. I really appreciate the generosity that has prompted some of you to inquire about this. But I want to just let you know, those of you who have written, and I just haven't really had capacity to like respond to everyone individually, which is why I'm putting in this video. As I kind of indicated already, the point of this year of being here in this house with our friends and just like spending the rest of the pandemic with them after our life went through this upheaval of having to close our business really quickly at the beginning of COVID and kind of not knowing what was next. The point of it was for us to basically recover financially from that. It was one of the points, but kind of the main point, right? To be here and to be able to save and to kind of like right the ship of our lives. And that's what we've been doing. And it's been over a year. We've been working really hard this whole time. The channel has grown. We've also been doing other work on the side and it's working, like we've been gathering our resources. We've been saving our resources. And because that's what we've been doing, and because it's been like almost a year and a half at this point that we've been doing that, we were able to cover it. We didn't have to say, no, we can't afford that test, so we have to just stop trying to find out what's wrong with her and just bring her home. We almost got to that point, but we didn't. And I feel so lucky that this didn't happen a year ago, and that we were in a position to handle it. And I just wanted to assure you guys that it has not gotten to a point where our financial situation kept Sadie from getting the care that she needed or getting the medicine that she needed, which I think is what some of you were saying. You were like, if you get to a point where you can't do what she needs, like we can help. And I can't tell you how much that means to me. But because of what we've been doing for the past year, it didn't get to that point. It was pretty shocking to see a huge chunk of our savings basically evaporate overnight, but at least it was there. And what I'll say too is that if you love my channel, you like watch me a lot, and you're aware that like our work and the work that allowed us to gather those savings that then went towards Sadie is something that you benefit from as a viewer. And because of that, you feel called to support this cause, you know, among all of their causes that there are, because there are so many amazing causes in this world for you to support. If for some reason you feel called to contribute something to this one, the best thing you can do is become a Patreon patron. I have a Patreon account. There are bonus videos over there. You can join for as little as $1 a month. If you want to donate like more to help with Sadie's vet bills, you could become a patron for more for the first month. Like you could join Patreon at like the $25 tier. And then after that, you could go in and like drop your subscription down to $3 a month or whatever you feel comfortable with going forward. That would be like a donation to us. And then you'd be a patron and you get to watch all of the bonus videos that are over there. There are videos like about the makeup that I wore to get married. There's a whole video about our marriage ceremony. It's like, there's just stuff like that over there. A little bit more talky, get ready with me style stuff that you don't do as much on YouTube anymore. So then you'd get something out of it because you'll get to watch the bonus videos. It won't just be like giving a donation, and you'll be able to join that community, which is really special, sweet, and vibrant actually. So if the thought has crossed your mind, just do that. Just become a patron. If you don't want to become a patron, but you do want to help, or if you already are a patron and you want to help in some other way, another small thing that you can do during the holidays in particular is to try to click through one of my affiliate links while you're doing like your holiday shopping. So if you're going to place a big order at Sephora or something, and you know, I'm not encouraging you to spend more so that like we can earn affiliate commission because it's so small. It's not worth that, right? If you were to like buy extra stuff at Sephora, if you were to click on my affiliate link and buy extra stuff at Sephora to support me, it will just make a difference of pennies. It's like a cumulative thing. But if lots of you click through my links before you do the shopping that you were going to do anyway, you know, like the things you were going to buy this season anyway, cumulatively, it can make a difference in our monthly income, and that could help us a lot this month as well. So that's another thing to think about, but no pressure to do that. It's just like little things here and there that I've been trying to think of that aren't like a GoFundMe, because like we don't need that. You know, there are people who do need that for medical bills, and cats who do need that. And even though it's been a lot for us and it's going to take us a while to rebuild those savings, we don't need that. So I just want to let you guys know like little things that you can do that would help, but that would work for you, or that wouldn't, you know, that will give you something in return, or that are just connected to what you'd be doing anyway, et cetera, et cetera. The main point of talking about this is just to thank you for the care. I mean, those of you who emailed me about this, the sweet offers, it's like that support means as much to me as moral support as it does as potential financial support, if not more. Because just hearing from people and knowing that people are wanting to help or thinking about helping, it's been incredibly comforting. Y'all, I had to turn off the camera for about 20 minutes. So I hope that not too much has changed. My hair, the lighting, etc. I am going to discuss the hair at the end of this video. I know it's kind of a lot, but I wanted to jump right in. I wanted to immediately just assure you that Sadie is improving and that things are looking, you know, cautiously optimistic, actually, is kind of how we're feeling. A little more optimistic with every day that passes. Okay, I'm going to reapply my lip oil because I've already like talked it off, I feel. And then I'm going to tell you about Smidge. This is a much more exciting, sweet, fun part of this video. The last two parts are better, but I needed to get that part about Sadie out of the way, although it's also wonderful. It's actually, I feel like it's kind of a grave situation over here, this life update, but it's actually all good news. So Smidge has been adopted into the best imaginable situation. What Smidge wants more than anything in the world, it became very clear over the course of her couple of months with us, is to be friends with another cat. She wanted to be friends with Sadie so badly. And she just worshiped Sadie. She would follow her around the house. She just wanted to love and snuggle and sleep with Sadie. And Sadie did get more used to her over the time that she was here, but she did not ever come fully around. And I think we gave it enough time to see if that was going to happen. And it just wasn't going to happen. Sadie was never going to get to the point where she would like play with Smidge and groom her and really for them to love each other. And that's what Smidge wanted. So Smidge couldn't be our cat. And she also couldn't be the cat of this house. That was something we considered for a while because she was getting along pretty well with Julia and Ollie's dog, Cordy, that maybe she could live here forever, even after Joe and I move on with Sadie. But Ollie's actually pretty allergic to cats. And it's been fine with Sadie because Sadie stays in our quarters. But if Smidge was going to be their cat, then she was going to be sleeping in their room and up in their space all the time. And we tried it and he's too allergic. So she can't be their cat. She can't be our cat. And luckily, there is a beautiful couple with a cat who wants a friend who really wanted Smidge. And luckily for all of you, one of this couple is my friend Becca, and she has a YouTube channel, and she also has a very active and beautiful Instagram account. And so Smidge is going to continue to be an Instagram star and a YouTube star. You'll be able to follow her future career with great interest through Becca. So they came over a couple of days ago and played with Smidge, and then they took her home and started introducing her to their cat, Ghost. And I shot some vlog footage of them meeting Smidge for the first time and taking Smidge with them. And I think I'm just going to edit it into a short, sweet little vlog and post it sometime in the next couple of days, maybe with some footage of Smidge in her new environment as well. So keep an eye out for that if you'd like to see how it went. I mean, of course we miss her. She's the sweetest. I mean, she's only second to Sadie in terms of like best cat in the world. But I'm really, really happy that she's in this incredible new home with this cat who she's slowly getting to know. She's just going to have the absolute best life that she possibly could have had. And I also know that Becca and her husband like love her already. They've just fallen completely in love with her. They're over the moon. We're over the moon. And Smidge is over the moon. So that couldn't have turned out better. And I think Sadie is also relieved. She's starting to realize that Smidge is gone. And so that's also like a special treat for her in her convalescence. The last thing that I just want to talk briefly about my haircut as long as we're doing this, because I don't know if maybe I can mention it offhandedly in some other videos, but yeah, Jude cut my hair again and I absolutely love it. The first cut, if you'll recall, was a gentle shag. I wanted a shag, but I was afraid. And so I said I wanted the gentlest possible shag. I wanted it to be a shag that had never heard of a mullet, a shag that had nothing to do with a mullet. And then we went in the second time for a little bit more intense of a difference between the crown and the length, you know? And this time I was like, let's go for it. I was like, this is a shag that's actually friends with the mullet. Some of its best friends are mullets. I love it. I feel like it's got a bit more of an edgy impact than either of the other two cuts. Compared to it, they were both just kind of like long shaggy layers rather than being true shags. This is a true shag. I mean, a lot of the bangs are coming from way back on the, close to the back of the crown of my head. And she took a ton of weight out of the sides right here. This part was growing out in like these chunks that it would look amazing for like the first month. And then these chunks would show up that weren't bangs, but they weren't hair either, and it was hard to know what to do with them. And it was getting awkward. And so this time she just took like so much hair out. Apparently I have more than the average amount of hair like on this part of the head, which is why that was happening. Like from my ear, let's see if you can even find my ear in here. From my ear to the crown of my head, like this part is like bigger and more densely packed with hair than with a lot of people. So she went in and really thinned out that part on either side. And I've actually really been enjoying this. I feel like, isn't this very Zelda? Don't you feel like I'm actually Zelda the elf? Or I haven't actually played that game, but Joe has. Link Zelda isn't actually the main character. Link is the character, and doesn't Link look like this? I'm a literal elf. I didn't even realize until this moment. Anyway, I love it. So there's all of this hair that grows out of this part of my head is now short. Jude actually explained it to me, like it's almost like from here forward is like a pixie cut. Like there's a pixie cut sort of on top of a regular shag haircut, which is a little bit like what a mullet would be, right? But I feel like a mullet would be if the pixie cut like extended all the way around to the back, which it doesn't really. It's just like the front. But I feel like it's what I've always wanted because my hair, there's less of it. There's way less of it. Like I've washed it one time since the cut, and it was so much easier to wash than it has been even for the past couple of months because there's so much less of it. And there was so much hair on the ground. I mean, it's strange because it doesn't look all that much shorter than it did and all that much less voluminous than it did, but she took out so much hair. I mean, it was like a lot. It felt like it feels like half of it is gone, but it takes up more space than it did because now that it's lighter, it is able to have more volume. So there's like physically less hair, but it's filling more space, and it's much easier to like push it into place and get it to do what I want it to do, which is, as always, to look like a bad wig that fell down the stairs at the beach. All of my hair dreams have come true in the midst of the kind of like chaos and trauma. Basically, the haircut was like the day that things started really getting serious with Sadie, really difficult. So it was like the last thing that I did. And then suddenly we went into this total zone of like 24/7 intense focus on helping our little cat survive what she was going through, and just came out of that a day or two ago. And I was like, oh, that's kind of fierce. I'm not mad at this version of the elven bad wig shag that's friends with the mullet. And that's it. That's the entire update. All right, I'm going to get back to a regularly scheduled programming now. I'm hoping to leave this video and go film. I have a lot of really exciting content coming in December that I was going to be filming during the first week of December. It's all kind of gotten pushed forward, but I'm hoping to bring you like a holiday gift guide again. A lot of you have been requesting that, so one of those is going to come. I'm going to do a full review of my sweater from the brand Baba. Some of you have been requesting that, like a really deep dive review of an investment piece in my wardrobe and kind of unpacking what that means. Those are a couple of the ones that are up first. And then there's a whole bunch of other ones. I've been like saving all my best video ideas for December because I wanted it to be a banner month. And I've gotten clearly thrown off track a little bit, but I'm hoping to get back on track before too long and bring you some good content. So of course, make sure you're subscribed if for some reason you've watched this video without being subscribed, although I imagine that this is the kind of video that only subscribers really like care about. Double check, make sure you're subscribed, and let's be together for the rest of December. Thank you again so much for your support. Those of you who've been reaching out, and even if you haven't, just knowing that you're there. I mean, it's times like this when the sense of an expansive community really comes through. It really shows me how lucky I am to be connected with so many awesome people, and that's you. So much love to you from us, from Joe, from me, and from sweet little Sadie. Anything that I should link or mentioned offhand didn't link or anything will be below, be below in the description box. And don't forget to take extra good care of yourself this week so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.